Actually, the subject of this session, I was surprised by the titles of the papers to be presented. We share in many meetings of our specialty. I am an intervention cardiologist. Dr. Nabil Farak again is as well. Dr. Am is working in the London-based laboratory. Our department. And Kumula Rayan again is a London-based cardiologist. And we all have the honor to attend this session concerning this proposal. We will take time to start by Dr. Ahmad Anwar. He is going to present he's going to address the effect of percutaneous mitral valvuloplasty on pregnant mother and fetus. An important subject. We have our own experience in chance, and we're going to listen to this important information.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable jury members, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and good morning. I am Ammar Anwar, studying in 4th year MBBS in Sheikh Zayed Medical College, Rahim Yar Khan, Pakistan. And I am going to present the prevalence of Jervell-Lange and Nelson syndrome in deaf children of Rahim Yar Khan and its association with cousin marriages. Alright. We carried out the study, first of all, to look for the long-QT syndrome in deaf school children of Rahim Yar Khan, to implement preventive measures such as beta blockers for cardiac arrhythmias and to stop the incidence of sudden death in such subjects. And last but not least, to look for its relationship to family history and cousin marriages as to do counseling for against cousin marriages. Alright. It was a cross-sectional observational study carried out on 114 subjects from December 2007 to March 2008. And the inclusion criteria for our study was congenital deafness. The subjects had to be congenitally deaf, and the age group that was included were 5 to 18 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the KVLUT is a potassium channel protein that is responsible for impulse generation in the hair cells of cochlea in the inner ear and in the cardiac muscle cells for the repolarization. The genetic absence of this particular protein reduces the potassium conductance in both the channels, and such children, they are not only congenitally deaf, but they are predisposed to have cardiac arrhythmias. The QT interval in such cases is prolonged because the duration of the QT interval, particularly the ST segment, shows the repolarization. And this potassium channel protein is responsible for the repolarization because it induces the potassium cramp. When this protein is absent, the time needed for the repolarization is increased, and we find QT interval prolonged on ECG. The sinus arrhythmia that we find in such cases is associated with prolonged QT interval with or without syncope on stress and ventricular tachyarrhythmias, and these children, they are predisposed to have sudden death. Alright. These subjects were congenitally deaf children from schools for special children in the setting of Rahim Yar Khan city, and a questionnaire was formed in which the questions regarding personal history, family history, congenital disease and socioeconomic history were asked. Now we perform the examinations, the auditory examinations, they were already performed, but we confirmed the auditory examination with the help of audiologist, and he confirmed that the deafness was congenital. Actually, the total subjects that we had started our study were around about 130, but around about 16 had to be excluded because we found out that the deafness was not congenital, it was acquired. And in the next step of our examination that was performed by ourselves, we started with the cardiac examination. First of all, we took ECG of each and every subject, the rhythm strip ECG. On this ECG, we first of all calculated the QT interval manually from the deflection of the QRS complex to the return of the TP interval baseline, and then we found the corrected QT interval with the help of Bazer's formula. And when the corrected QT interval was found to be greater than 0.44 seconds, then we took the 12-week ECG of the subject and his or her immediate family members to look for this syndrome in his family. Next, we performed the 12-minute test on the subject to look for syncope on stress and for the QT prolongation. And last but not least, Echocardiography was performed by cardiologists to check for any valvular abnormality. And finally, we scored them according to Schwartz criteria for Jervell-Lange and Nelson syndrome. Correct. As you can see that there were 114 congenitally deaf subjects. The males were 46, the females were 68. The family history of congenital deafness. This is a very important point, ladies and gentlemen. The family history of congenital deafness was positive in 49 cases. The mothers of 2 subjects were congenitally deaf. The siblings of 40 subjects were congenitally deaf. And the other relatives of 7 subjects, they were congenitally deaf. And the history of cousin marriages. And other very important finding, it was positive in 98 out of 114 of our subjects. I want to tell you that 98 subjects had parents who were cousin by marriages. First cousin, not second, first cousin. And the positive cases of LQTC, it was found to be in 28 subjects. They made around 25%, and the QT interval, the corrected QT interval according to Batter's formula was greater than 0.44 seconds. Alright, this is a graph I can explain it if you want to know. And this is scoring according to Schwartz criteria. There was low probability of this syndrome in 2 subjects with score less than 1. There was intermediate probability of this syndrome with score of 2 to 3 in 11 subjects. And there was a high probability of Jervell-Lange and Nelson syndrome with score greater than 4 in 15 of our subjects. The statistical analysis was done by using SPSS, and Pelletier test was applied to find out the significance of the syndrome in relation to cousin marriages. We found it significant with p-value of 0.007. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here you can see this is statistical analysis SPSS. The QT0 shows that the QT interval is less than 0.44 seconds. And the QT1 shows that the QT interval is greater than 0.44 seconds. Here you see that the parents are cousins. Out of all the those subjects who had QT interval greater than 0.44 seconds, all of them have parents who are cousins by marriages. These 28 subjects. Alright, coming to the discussion, hearing defect associated with prolonged QT interval fulfilling Schwartz criteria is Jervell-Lange and Nelson syndrome. It is an autosomal recessive disorder. A similar disorder with autosomal dominant inheritance is the Romano-Ward syndrome, but in that cases, there is QT prolongation with renal abnormalities. That is not associated with deafness, and that is not my topic. Extensive cousin marriages prevalent in that population is a matter of serious concern, as the outcome can be sudden death of the patient. And it is a preventable disease with marriage counseling which must be attempted at. We would suggest beta blockers and left cervical thoracic ganglionectomy. We find beta blockers to be quite useful in fact in these subjects, and they prolong their survival. The Jervell-Lange and Nelson syndrome, it is a recessive hereditary disorder. It is increasing in that population of anemia pansity due to extensive cousin marriages. It is preventable by marriage counseling which must be attempted at. A simple ECG can detect the affected, who can then be helped by beta blocker treatment. That concludes my presentation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm proud of this excellent presentation and sticking to the time. This was very good. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Thank you. I think we move to the next presenter, right? Thank you.